I know what you're thinking. Who's this old guy? I'm Danny McCaslin. I'm 42 years old. And when I was 35, I had a heart attack, which is about the worst thing that can happen as a family man with two young children. It affected me in a really profound way with like ripple effects even to today. I don't even know some of them for sure. What I can say for sure is that when I was younger and I wanted to be seen as special, nearly dying at 35 of something that doesn't kill most people until they're over 65 wasn't really what I was thinking of. Now, since then, I've made a lot of changes for the better. I've been involved in some kind of athletics, for example, off and on for the past 5 years or so. Things like rock climbing, hiking, backpacking, running, all activities that gave me an excuse to pay attention to my health and to connect to nature and really push the limits of what I once thought I was capable of. And on top of that, I got to buy some cool gear. Who's ready for some ice? But this past year was a little different. I did well in some ways, like looking at my Strava data, I had more active days than the year before. I was following something that resembled a plan for most of the year, and I saw some benefit of that. I knocked 5 minutes off my 10K time in the span of a year, and I also knocked 3 minutes off my 5K time. But my weight ballooned. I went from 230 at my lightest in 2022 to over 270 at my heaviest. I had a hard time managing cravings and sticking to a meal plan, and I just felt depressed for the first 30 of the year, despite running multiple days a week. I felt unmotivated. I lacked clarity. I just generally felt bad. What amazes me as I say all of these things is how well I managed to perform late in the year despite the weight and the rocky start. I know it's pretty amazing how I feel about myself despite the successes I was able to squeeze out. Achieving a personal best in both the 5 and 10K is something I should be happier about, and instead I'm really heavily focused on weight. But for good reason. When I was younger, I was 370 pounds at one point. I keep going back to how much faster I'd be if I wasn't carrying the 30 extra pounds I'm carrying now. And I keep worrying about what might happen if I gain more weight. As a runner and cyclist, I also worry about the effects that the extra weight might have on my joints. And I just generally want to look better. I want to move through the mountains better, sleep better, not have to worry about my cycling shorts slipping under my belly. I want my regular clothes to fit better. So, why am I here? There's all kinds of fitness YouTube channels. Why start a new one? Well, first, I'm training for a half marathon. My trainer, who's this amazing runner, tells me that I easily have what it takes to go the full 13.1, and she's written up this monster 20-week plan to help me get there. And I thought, what better way to keep myself honest with this training plan than to open myself up to a bunch of strangers on the internet and let them yell at me? Because that's never ended horribly. But seriously, my training last year was super haphazard. If I woke up and I didn't want to run, I just didn't run. I vaguely tried to hit a mileage goal every week, but if I didn't hit that goal, no big deal. I just eat some pizza. Hopefully, tracking my training through these videos will help me remain engaged. Second, most of the fitness channels that I watch on YouTube are made up of people that are completely different looking than I am. I watch these videos as a form of motivation. But if your 5K time is 34 minutes and you can barely push 1.2 watts per kilogram on a bike, then there's only so much you can learn by watching someone who can push 3.5 watts per kilogram and runs a 19-minute 5K. When I first started working out, I really wanted to see content geared towards people who looked more like me, basically middle-aged fat guys. There's a lot in the fitness world that's based on assumptions about how the body works, and if you've ever done yoga with a belly, you know what I'm talking about. Professionals, they can tell you the best ways to modify workouts to give you the most bang for your buck, but professionals also cost money. So essentially, I'm paying a trainer and doing what I'm told and then reporting on the results. Hopefully, someone coming along after me can find some inspiration and learn from my mistakes. So, what will my training consist of? To start, I have got to increase my running volume. Absolutely have to. At most, I've been running 14 to 15 miles per week. This consists of two regular length runs of around an hour, a longer run that's maybe 10% longer, and a faster run that was much shorter, maybe 2 miles. I built this routine based on some books I had read about running and endurance sports, but I was making a couple of mistakes. One, my long run wasn't nearly long enough. So my current plan, when it starts later this month, will consist of 2 hour-long runs in heart rate zone 1. Today, that means about 4.5 miles. A third run, a longer run, will start at 6 miles, and by the end of the training, a week before my half marathon, it'll be around 12, 13 miles. My older long runs were just slightly longer than my original runs, maybe around 5 miles. I also need to improve my speed. I haven't been doing enough work in those upper zones to help improve my VO2 max and increase the lactate threshold. So my trainer is introducing track workouts. Yes, sprinting. For reference, I hated the few track workouts we did in gym class, mostly because I sucked at them. But my trainer has written out this plan with 200, 400, and 800-meter runs that'll push me to and above my 5K pace. These track days are designed to push my heart rate up higher, to push my speed up higher, and to build those fast twitch muscles. And it should help make me run faster. Why faster when the goal is just to complete a half marathon? Well, because at my current pace, I'll be running for like 4 hours to complete a half marathon, and that just doesn't sound like fun. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to those track days, so long as my high school gym teacher doesn't show up to call me a fat ass. It's okay, he's probably dead. On some weeks, I'll also throw in short, faster runs. These will be anywhere from 2 to 3 miles at a 5K pace. This workout plan will also incorporate down weeks every 5 weeks. And in this kind of setup, the workout is split into 5 week blocks. So the fifth week in each block reduces the load, so I'll reduce the distance of that long run. So if my long run is 7.5 miles on week 4, it will drop to 6 miles on week 5, and then we'll go up to 8 miles on week 6. I'll also be incorporating some strength training. As a runner and a cyclist and a wannabe rock climber, working my legs, my hips, my glutes, and my stabilizers is really important. And core workouts are also super important for both cycling and running. You will for sure feel it if your core fitness is not dialed in because your torso will feel like a wet noodle. It'll definitely affect your back. It'll make it harder to ride, and it'll make it harder to run with good form and cause back pain. I'll also have a secondary focus on things like arms, chest, and back. I used to climb at least once a week, often more, and I want to stick my toe back in those waters for this year. Plus, working out, even if you have a practical goal like I do, has some level of aesthetics to it. You want to look good, so this will help me do that. So that's the plan. I'm officially starting on the 23rd of January, and I plan to make at least one video per week tracking my training progress. I hope that you'll follow me on this journey. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any tips or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I would say to leave your criticisms there as well, but who am I kidding? This is YouTube. They'll do that without prompting.